Okay, so Miss Jenkins, the chromatic music teacher. Now, you must have a lot of expertise with teaching Boomwhackers to your students in the class. Now, so we want to give some tips for teachers about how to use these in the class. So what I'm talking about is like the classroom management. So they're all there in a bucket. Do you say to your kids, just go grab a Boomwhacker, just grab whatever one you want? How do you manage the class when you're doing a Boomwhacker? So first of all, how do you get them to go and get a Boomwhacker at the start of the class?
Yes, so I like to set the expectations first of they know that if I see them hitting another student with a Boomwhacker, they'll get it taken away, because we have to be safe and respectful with our instruments, take good care of them. So we're not allowed to throw them, we're not allowed to hit them on anyone.
Let's think about how we enforce that in the class. So you say to your students, hey, if I see anyone playing the Boomwhacker when they shouldn't, I'm going to take it off you. It doesn't require the teacher to stop everybody. Hey, why did you? Just go up to the kid, carry on with the class, and suddenly you're playing and that kid isn't playing. And then all the other class realise that that rule has been enforced. So that's a good method of doing it silently, enforcing the rule without saying anything.
Right, and it's really important to follow through. You know, if you say that you're going to take the Boomwhackers away, if you see this behavior that you don't want, then you have to actually follow through with it, or you'll have the student saying, well, he did this and she did this. And so you have to try to be fair and equal with all the students all the time.
Yeah, so if you follow ORF pedagogy, you'll know it's similar in ORF, is that all students play all parts. And it's a really good way, because then you get to know like the melodic part and the bass part and the bass tones and the middle parts. And it sets them up nicely for choir and listening. And that stretches the ear as well. Okay, so they come in, you set the expectations. Now, they've got their Boomwhackers. There's 5 pitches. Now, you've got Boomwhackers for everybody, okay, which I think is the best way to do it. Now, I don't know quite what the cost of a set of Boomwhackers is, but if you can have as one Boomwhacker for everybody, I think it makes it a lot easier classroom management-wise, right? Yes,
because sometimes, especially if you have a younger grade, maybe 1st grade or 2nd grade, if they have to wait their turn through a song and they don't get to play, that can be very difficult, and it can feel like a really long period of time to wait when you're younger. And so trying to keep all of the students engaged and playing the entire time. And so what I will do is I will usually have the students set their Boomwhackers down on I have dots on my floor that they sit on. So I'll have the students set the Boomwhacker down on the dots. I'll have the whole row stand up and then shift down one row, so that it's an organized method of making sure everyone gets to play every note, because that could very easily turn chaotic. One thing that I like to do is I like to see how many students I have for the class, and let's say that I have 5 different pitches in this song. Let's say I have C, D, E, F, and G. If I have 5 pitches and if I have 20 students in that class, my students sit in rows. And so what I like to do is say, okay, if you're sitting on this row, go ahead and come up and grab a C, or go ahead and come up and grab a D. And one thing that I think is really important with students is rotating the pitches that they have, because in any given song that you're playing, some pitches are going to get to play more than others. That's just how the nature of the song is going to go. And so I like to rotate so that each student gets a chance with each color and each different pitch of Boomwhacker.
Is there anything you can say to the teachers to give them some encouragements in class about how to use Boomwhackers and enjoy this instrument?
Yes, so I would say that they can seem daunting, just because they are an instrument that can very easily get chaotic, but just figuring out your system, being really clear with your expectations for the students and for being kind to each other and being responsible and safe with the instruments themselves, and just doing it in a very structured way, not just throwing out Boomwhackers and saying, here you go, especially with even if you're introducing it for the first time with the older grades, just having that structure will help the process go a lot more smoothly. And students always love them. Anytime I tell my students that we're going to play with Boomwhackers, they get excited. And so that's something that maybe it's not something you play with in class every day, but maybe is a little bit of a reward at the end of a class or on a special day. And as students will always get excited about it, because they're just fun and colorful, and every student can do well with it. You know, maybe on some other instruments, some students might not feel that they do as good of a job as other students, but with Boomwhackers, I feel like everyone is really on an equal playing field, and so that's something that's really helpful to have as a tool in the classroom.